Where Paul met Linda back in May 1967, 50 years ago. That was on the 15th of May. So today's the 18th, so we're just 2 days too late. I would love to say on this day, 50 years ago. So the big pulling line. Okay, so Paul saw Linda. She was with the Animals, by the way. They're a great rock and roll band. And Paul just walked up to her and said, "Hi, how are you? How are you doing?" I'm Paul. After this, we're going to another club. Would you like to join us? That was his big pulling line. As you can see, it worked.
Yeah.
But well, he's Paul McCartney. Also, there you can see another plaque mentioning the Jimi Hendrix experience. That's where they performed for the very first time as a band. Yes? Remember earlier this week, I said that you'll see some new plaques that are not actually the ones issued by the English Heritage. These ones are the artificial blue plaques issued by this flag, especially for the plaque. I want to mention before, for a real blue plaque, you might be there. So we'll let you call McCartney to my life. And actually, even after Paul passed away, this plaque mentioning him meeting Linda can't really be a real blue plaque, because him meeting Linda is not important in the history of English culture. It is important for us fans only. If that was some kind of like performance or recording, then yes, it could turn into a real blue plaque. It's just him meeting his wife. Though the one mentioning the Jimi Hendrix experience actually could turn into a real plaque someday in the future. We'll see. Or after all of the Beatles pass away, maybe they could mention all of them, because they used to come here quite often. Also, it was visited by people like The Who, Eric Clapton. They used to come here as well. That was one of the favorite clubs back in late 1960s. So that's the place where the beautiful love story of Paul and Linda began. Now let me take you to the place where the story of the Beatles ended. Well, unfortunately, now it is owned by Abercrombie kids. But that's the building that was purchased by the Beatles back in June 1968. And in January 1969, the Beatles performed on the roof of this hotel. Well, that's where they had the Apple offices, yes, and the rooftop sessions were the very last live performance. Fortunately, after that, they broke up. So, January 1969, winter, yes, cold and windy. So the Beatles, they weren't actually prepared. They weren't dressed properly. That's why in the footage you can see that John is wearing a fur coat. That wasn't his, that was Yoko's. And you can see that Ringo's wearing a red Mac. That wasn't his, that was his wife's, Marie's. That's why they say that was the day for swapping clothes. And when technicians started preparing microphones there on the roof, they noticed that the wind is making a horrific noise, so they had to cover those microphones somehow. And one of the producers, Alan Parsons, went to the nearest Marks and Spencer's to purchase some stockings to cover those mics, yes. And when he went to the Marks and Spencer's, to the lingerie department, ladies there thought of him that he was quite odd, because he said, "I just need some stockings." They were like, "Okay, so what size? Doesn't matter. What color? Doesn't matter." That sounded quite odd, but well, those stockings helped to cover microphones and they could perform and record. Now when they started the performance, you couldn't see them from where we are standing at the moment, but you could hear them very, very well. So passers-by, they stopped.
Listen, probably.
The Beatles live, there's someone there. You know, some people started climbing buildings and so on. Lucky those people that were somewhere there so they could see the Beatles quite well. And actually not all the people were happy about the Beatles performing here. Local tradespeople, they phoned up the police station saying, "Did you come and tell the Beatles to shut up?" They're affecting my business. Affecting their business. Actually, the very first two policemen that came, they didn't come from this police station just round the corner. That's like 150 yards only. The very first two policemen came from Piccadilly Circus, 3 times the distance. And they didn't tell the Beatles to shut up. They were huge Beatles fans. They were excited, they were happy to be here and standing listening to the band. Then a big group of policemen came from that police station eventually. And at that moment when they were coming, the Beatles were playing their song Get Back. It was perfect. Police coming and let's get back. And when Ringo saw the big group of policemen, he was quite happy. He was thinking that it's going to be a great finale for the movie Let It Be. They're going to arrest them, he's going to kick, smash the drums, and it'll be chaos there. A perfect finale. Unfortunately, the police didn't arrest anyone, just asked them to tune it down. So poor Ringo was quite disappointed. At the end of performance, John Lennon said, "I would like to thank you on behalf of the group and ourselves, and I do hope we passed the audition." Now, I do hope I passed the audition. This is the end of the tour, but I will still take you to the Piccadilly Circus underground station, so you will not get lost. And before we go to the station, I would advise you to go inside. I can't take you as a group of tourists because they complain, but you can go like